There was once a village hidden deep within the heart of the great forest, where the wind spoke through the trees and the rivers carried the whispers of forgotten spirits. This village was called Obodo Ndu, the village of life, for it was said that the ancestors themselves still walked among its people in unseen form. Every evening, when the red sun sank behind the mountains, the people gathered around the sacred circle to listen to the sound of the ancestral drum, a drum so ancient that no one remembered who first carved it. Some said it was made from the heartwood of the first tree that grew when the world was born. Others claimed it was a gift from the gods, who left it behind as a bridge between the living and the dead. The drum was not played by just anyone. It belonged to the drum keeper, a lineage chosen by the spirits themselves. For generations, the duty fell upon one family, the House of Awaken, whose bloodline was said to sing in rhythm with the ancestors. But as time passed, and the world began to forget the old ways, even Obodo Ndu grew restless. The young mocked the elders' tales. They wanted to dance to newer songs brought by traders from the coast. The sacred drum gathered dust, and the voices of the ancestors grew silent. Then came a season of strange omens. The rain refused to fall. Crops withered in the fields. The river turned pale, like a serpent shedding its skin. The animals of the forest fled, and the air grew thick with sorrow. The elders gathered and declared that the ancestors were angry, that their silence had been mistaken for peace. The drum keeper, Old Awaken, was called to awaken the sacred sound that once bound heaven and earth. But Awaken was dying. His voice trembled like dry leaves, and his hands could no longer hold the drumsticks. He called for his grandson, Obodo, a boy of 16 whose spirit burned like lightning. "Child," the old man said, "our people have forgotten who they are. The drum must speak again. You must awaken it." "But grandfather," Obodo said, "I do not know the songs." Awaken smiled, his eyes dim but fierce. "The drum remembers. Listen, not with your ears, but with your spirit." That night, as the moon rose full and golden, Obodo carried the ancient drum to the sacred circle. The villagers gathered, their faces lit by the trembling firelight. The wind howled through the trees like the breath of unseen gods. Obodo struck the drum once. The sound rolled through the air like thunder across the hills. The people gasped, for the ground itself seemed to pulse beneath their feet. He struck again, and the trees shuddered. A third time, and a great silence fell. Then, from within that silence, voices began to rise, soft at first, then louder, the voices of the ancestors, echoing through the air like the murmur of 1,000 souls. The fire swelled brighter, and the night became alive. The villagers fell to their knees. They saw visions of their forefathers hunting, tilling, and blessing the land, of mothers singing lullabies under the starlit sky, of spirits walking among them with pride and love. The ancestral drum spoke of forgotten truths, that the land was alive, that every leaf and stone held memory, and that a people without their past were like rivers without source. As Obodo played, tears streamed down his face. He was no longer a boy. He was the bridge, the vessel through which the old world and the new could meet. Then suddenly, a great wind swept through the circle, extinguishing the fire. When the flames returned, the drum was gone, vanished, as though it had never existed. Only a faint echo lingered, drifting across the hills. From that day on, Obodo Ndu changed. The rains returned. The river sang again. But no one ever saw the ancestral drum. Yet sometimes, on nights when the moon is full and the forest hums with unseen life, the villagers say they still hear it, the soft, rhythmic beat of the drum echoing to the wind, calling them to remember who they are. And so the myth lived on, not just in story, but in the heartbeat of every child born in Obodo Ndu. For as the elders would say, the ancestors never die, they only change their song. If you found this story captivating, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Afriction, where the echoes of Africa's ancient wisdom come alive through story. Share your thoughts below, and let us know, what do you think the drum was truly trying to say?